Okay, guys, we're back this week. Y'all have any questions about the stuff we covered last week? Speakers?
Yes,
Okay.
that was just how to, in case you stroked it out and you didn't have it defined, that's how you would define it in your transcript. That is not the actual, like say, for example, the snoo and screw, you haven't defined that stroke as a attorney 1, attorney 2, attorney 3. That's not what that is. Last week was, if you didn't have it defined, that is how you define it throughout your transcript, right?
Globally.
Yes,
Yeah.
but not the actual stroke.
Yeah, we covered that.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, but anyway.
Well, I'm gonna go back then, because it's important. And if you would have been paying attention.
I was paying attention.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Take it easy. Take it easy, lady.
Got ready to punch you like that.
Jesus.
If you're looking over their laptop.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect examples right here. Snoo. Okay? Now you want to define it. What do you do?
Sorry. You're what?
Parking.
How?
G.
M or G? So M. So now what? Then G.
Where we want?
Hang on. I want you to do it. That.
Give me this licensing, sir. Nonsense, we're just not here in 5 minutes.
You know what? I'm going to walk you through it the first time.
No, no, no. No, I know.
You know it.
I just,
Okay, well now you're really going to know. Okay? Check it out. Okay? Look, you can do G, which is easy. Because G marks how many strokes?
1.
I'm giving you the answer.
I thought it was
G?
G, control.
G in
Oh.
hyperkeys only marks 1. Because then it starts marking G. Okay? So you have to be careful with that. Now you can do Control G. Well, no, it's not going to do it. So if you want to mark, now you have to do M if you want multiple in hyperkeys. Okay? In hyperkeys. Now if you're not in hyperkeys, oh, I think it's because of steno. The rest of this stuff is not steno, and that's why it's not doing it, okay? Now, it sees that it's steno. Now, all of your stuff is gonna be steno, okay? So you can mark that, you know, whatever, but it's no big deal. So, let's just say you're in hyperkeys, G, all right? So now you wanna make it a speaker, okay?
Permanently?
Permanently.
Okay.
permanently.
Permanent.
In your main dictionary though.
In your main dictionary. So now you want to come to special entries, S, 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 there's the speaker. All right? Select it. Now it already has it set up. What do you want it as?
Attorney 1.
Attorney 1. Cap lock, ATTY, 1, and that's how you want it to look. You can do it however you want. You can spell out attorney, I don't care. You do it however you want, just so you know that it's a first speaker, okay? You put in there whatever you want, okay? It's in your main, okay? Which is what you want it in. You press enter, and it should be in there. I have no idea why that did. I think it's because it's not really steno, that's why it's not doing it. But, I mean, that's how you do it, okay? So if you're in there, it's going to do that. I don't know why it's not doing it in this. Maybe it's because it's this in the exercise. You know, we need to go up to the exercise and find the exercise part of it.
See, when, on my notes, I have select speaker.
Mhm.
I thought that had to do with the drop-down box that had the list, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, where it has the names, or is that something, is that?
That's when you
when-
already have it defined.
Oh, that's when you have.
That's when
it.
you already have it defined. So let's say you're right here, all right? Now you're right here, and we're gonna go into pretend mode, okay? Because we've already done it. But if you see the stroke for that is Bob Bob. Okay? You know what, let me get out of here and I'm gonna reload this. I'm gonna reload this lesson. This way it can be. Okay. Okay, let's just say, pretend mode, that this is SNU, okay? It's one of your speaker identifications, okay? And you want to name it, and this is the first time you used it, because you know it's red, red, black, black. Well, you know what? Here's one, white, 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 white right here, okay? So that's one of your speaker identifications right there, okay? So you want to name it. So you do Control G twice, just mark both strokes, white, white, okay? Well, that's not what I want. I want it as a speaker. So you come over here, which is Control E, S, I don't want special charts, S, I don't want suffixes, S. That's what I want. I want the speaker. So it automatically has it set up. You see how it's set up? With the brackets, speaker, colon, X. So it already knows what to do. Select it. What do you want it to say? I want it to say, Attorney 1. Okay? Got it? Slick? You want it in your main. Ace. You want it in your main. Enter. See what it just did? It set it up like this. Attorney 1. Okay? So now, what we were talking about was now to come in here, you put your cursor, highlight it. Now what?
You're gonna global it,
How?
mark it,
It's already marked.
G,
G.
and then you're going to F2.
F2.
You're gonna select.
What's his
or
name?
write in
What's his name?
Mr. White.
Okay. Now what?
Enter.
Enter. So it puts it in here,
And you go
and
to
it
your-
puts it as Mr. White.
But you want it for your job that you
Want a job. So what is that?
Control J.
Control J. Control J. It asks you, do you want to global it? Because you've marked it with G, which is going to global it.
But
You do want to global it. You
But
do.
it'll only-
Because global it means you want it throughout the whole job. And that's what you want. You want to global it? Yes. Hit enter, changes it
But by
to
doing
Mr.
that,
White.
it never changes the stroke itself
No.
from Attorney 1. It always leaves it Attorney 1 until you go back and define it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's only gonna do that in that job where it's gonna name it Mr. White, okay? Because you put it in a job dictionary. So every other time, it's gonna be Attorney 1, okay?
Okay.
Any other questions about speakers? You in the front.
You mentioned writing dram, and then it'll automatically do direct examination.
Mm-hmm.
How do you set it up to where it's already centered and where it needs to be?
Well, we're coming to that. That's probably next week. But that's in block functions,
Okay.
okay? So it's coming. We still have numbers to do and we have block functions. You don't want to miss those days. I know you guys are pretty good about being here, so you don't want to miss those days because it's pretty important, okay? So any other questions about speakers? Are you sure you have this? This is important. So if you think you don't, tell me now.
No, I mean, I understand it, I mean, now that you're saying it like that,
Yeah.
okay, I understand the concept now. It was the whole, like,
Well, here it is again. Let's just say you did snoo right there. You did snoo. Or you did black, whatever. I don't really care. Control G, marks them both. You know what? I want it as a speaker identification because I don't want to use it as Mr. Zarate because Mr. Zarate's not always in my court or not always taking my depositions. I want to use it as a speaker because if another guy that comes in may have black hair, may have on a black suit, black tie, you know, whatever. I mean, I want to use it as a speaker identification. Okay? So walk me through it. What do I do?
I would mark black.
So how do you mark?
I would do MM. That's how I would.
M, okay.
Global,
How do you,
G. Go to, we're doing speaker identification, right? So you, okay, so you go to special entries,
which is
Control E.
Control E.
Go down to speaker, or up to speaker.
You see it?
Below answer,
Below answer.
you press S until you find it.
Right there. Or S. Now you're in there, so what?
So you're gonna select speaker.
I did. So, enter,
Okay, enter.
enter,
And then you're gonna write, what's that, attorney 2?
person in black.
Person in black. Oh, okay. And then you're gonna go to your main dictionary.
It's already in. You want to make sure that it's there.
Okay, so.
All right.
It's not in your, you're not putting this in your main, or
You
are
are.
you? Oh, as person in black.
Yeah.
Okay.
So press enter. Are you sure you want to make this globally? Yes. Because everywhere I have black, I want it to go as person in black. Yes, I do. There it goes. So you haven't named it yet. Okay, all you've done was define that stroke. So now, every time that you go to a deposition and you do black, this is gonna come up.
Person.
So you don't have to worry about defining it again or putting it in your dictionary again, unless you misstroke it. Then you may need to, but if not, then it always should come up as that, because it's in your main dictionary. Okay? So how do we define it?
So you're gonna mark it. You're gonna G, F2, number 4, or do you have to write it out?
No, I mean, it can be whoever you want. Let's just say it's somebody else. It's somebody that's not in there. So who, Mr. Who? Now?
You hit OK, or enter,
Okay.
and you're gonna go to the main dictionary, or you can hit Control J.
Control J.
Yes.
Yes. And it doesn't. All right. Got it? All right. Guys, speakers is very important. Okay, so if you ever have questions about speakers, Speak up. All right? Okay, conflicts. And we've already kind of gone through this already, guys, and I don't know why. I guess they kind of do it because it is pretty important, you know, about trouble scans, conflicts, unresolved conflicts. Okay? So they're going to go through it again. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it unless you just don't get it, but
Eclipse is famous for intelligent conflict resolution. Let's see how it works. Here, the word table is an untranslate, although it's been intelligently guessed. I'll define it as a conflict. A backslash will separate each conflict choice from the next. I'll also include a command that tells the system that if a number...
you see what it's telling you right there on your conflicts? So if it's going to conflict with something else, which is telling you it is, because where is your table? Table is not capitalized, okay? That follows table 12. Now you're talking about a specific table, table 12. So it needs to be capitalized. So that's what they're doing right here. So when you create a conflict, you want to put this backslash. You don't want to put the slash, which comes the other way. You don't want it coming this way. You need it coming this way. So you need to start it off with that. So that automatically tells it that it's a conflict. Okay?
follows, the number should be in numeral form, not written form. This was the number
gonna
should
back
be
it up
in
just a
numeral
bit.
form. I'll also include a command that tells the system that if a number follows, the number should be in numeral form, not written form.
Okay? And that's what it's telling you right there. That it's a number and it needs to be in numeral. And we're getting ready to do numbers next, so some of this will make a little bit more sense when we do the next lesson. But you need to set it up this way. Table is not going to be in the brackets, okay, because it has nothing to do with table. All it's telling you right here is that it needs to be a capital table and that it needs to be number. Set it up just like this. Number with a capital N is going to tell it that when it precedes a number, that it's going to automatically know to capitalize that T. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes?
So even if it's a two-digit number, we don't need like two ends, that one
No.
end's gonna
It
be-
already tells it. When there's a number, and it doesn't matter if that number is 9 digits long. It doesn't matter. Okay? All you need to do is put in there the number sign, which tells it it's a number, and the N, which tells it it's going to be in numeral form, which is that. Okay? Does that make sense? Write it down.
I was gonna ask, cause, it's probably jumping ahead, but my numbers are all messed up in my Eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
1 through 10, obviously they come out written.
Yeah. We're gonna get to it.
Okay, so that's.
We're gonna get to it. That's the next one. Numbers covers everything, and it's real easy. Numbers is easy because there's only one way to do it, and you write everything out. You don't put any numbers anymore. You don't put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't do any of that anymore. All you do now to define a number is put the word, and then it knows what to do in your user settings. Okay, and we'll get to it.
This conflict will go in my main dictionary. This will actually be two conflicts back to back. Your is a conflict that was resolved by the computer. Here, choice 1 is correct. Here you see that you can have different colors to display the conflicts that you yourself have picked, as opposed to those that the computer has picked and those that have yet to be resolved.
That just kind of goes to the color things. So, I mean, if you're going through, it's just going to tell you, we've already covered this too. You know, what the different colors mean. And you don't even have to do it. You can do it in black and white the whole way, you know. But it just tells you, you know, which ones are a conflict, which ones have been resolved, which ones still need to be resolved. Okay?
You also notice that the dictionary indicates that Eclipse Artificial Intelligence has learned one rule for resolving this conflict in the future.
You see that? So every time you do that, it's going to tell you how many times it's resolved itself. So how many times you go through there and use it. So it's actually pretty neat.
Each time you select a conflict choice, Eclipse can learn from your editing. The more you use it, the smarter it gets.
Did you hear that? The more you use it, the smarter it gets. So if you just go in there and just keep capitalizing this thing, you know, with just like an A, you know, in hyperkeys, and just come over here and just A, then it's not going to learn anything. Okay? So if you set it up as a conflict and you fix it as a conflict, then it's going to start knowing what you're doing. So the more you use it, the more it understands what you're trying to do. Okay?
You can always select a different conflict choice if necessary. The number for each choice is displayed in the status bar at the lower left of your screen. But you can also right-click on a conflict to see its choices.
Guys, I mean, there's so many different ways of doing it, but the AutoMagic is going to have it anyway. Okay? So AutoMagic is probably going to have these things over here anyway. But it's going to have it down here if for some reason it doesn't. But usually it does. 99% of the time, it's going to have that option of changing it. Okay?
And pick the one that is correct.
Any questions about that? Pretty straightforward, no big deal. And these are just, I mean, different conflicts that you can have. There, and there. No with the comma before and after it. You know, so you can set it up as conflicts that way also. Okay? Stylistic conflicts, day to day, whereas